Hi, this is Jed with Forex Strategy Secrets. I wanted to go ahead and dissect a situation in the market today that was a little bit frustrating for me in my trading today, but maybe I can turn this into a positive by giving you guys a chance to see. Maybe I can turn this into a positive by allowing our students to see exactly what you need to look for and why patience is so important when you're dealing with waiting for these things to set up. Now, in this particular case, it could have gone either way for me, so let me explain the scenario. Okay, I was in the Euro CAD and watching the Pound CAD, and it was pretty much going flat right through here, and I kept getting signals on the 1 minute time frame, but the 5 minute wasn't quite set up. If you'll notice here on this signal right here, it is a fresh cross on the filter, which is what I want, but I'm not below the zero line here or here. And I think I was trying to force it because I figured it was going to bounce off this 134 and work in my favor for a downtrend, because if I pull this in like this and drop down to the 1 minute, oops. So if I drop down to the 1 minute, you can see that I was getting signals, but I wasn't waiting for that 5 minute. And it was still bouncing off that 134. And this happened to me not once, but 3 different times where I was getting signals. Now, the only place that this was even valuable, that started to show promise, was right in here before the big news move. This was a news move. It was discussed prior to, and I wanted to stay in, I really did. But prior to, I was getting a little nervous, thinking, you know what, this news could go either direction. I'd rather not take a loss, especially if it's as big as the news is projected to be, than run the risk of losing in hopes that I gain. So in this case, if you'll notice, here's my stop loss. I would have lost had it spiked against me. Only 10 pips. But look where I set my take profit. Right down where it went. That would have been a total of 95 pips. Now, I made an executive call on that. I made a judgment call. And I'm fine with that. I'm not going to cry over lost pips. But what I do want to point out is the simple fact that on this entry point, we were below, finally below. Double check that. Okay, I needed to make some adjustments here to show you this more clearly. But right here where I made that entry, it was below, fresh cross on both, and below. Now, I would have wanted to have had a fresh cross on all 3, but this would have given me, and it did give me, enough reason to want to jump in. Then it did test it again on the filter, but then went short again. Another confirmation to stay in. That's why I stayed in. And this happened here, and it also happened right here prior to, let me mark those. So you can see that I had 3 confirmation entry points. Could have entered at any one of those points based on the criteria I need to have on the 1 minute. But the 5, let's double check the 5. It was below fresh cross, below, and below a fresh cross. So it would have worked. Now, had I trusted in my signals, my indicators, had I trusted in the indicators, trusted in my stop, and been willing to lose 10 pips, I would have done very well this morning on this particular move. Now, this happened in the Euro CAD and the Pound CAD. The Pound CAD didn't move quite as far. But let me focus on another thing now. This is a totally different topic. So when you're looking for a trend breakout, and this is a trend breakout. Let me define this for you. 15-minute is above, the 1 minute crossed over eventually, and then the 5 minutes. So you want all three in this order: 15, 5, 1 for a short, and it was testing it right through here. But because the price kept dropping below all three of the moving averages, that's why these are enterable positions. Now, in a sideways market, this is really frustrating to trade. And so hoping for it to break out is what we look for. I misjudged how powerful that news was going to be and didn't trust in my judgment on the entry, so that's why I got out prematurely. This cost me 93 pips. Okay, so let's jump over to here. So this big move, we all know that after a big move the market needs to rest a little bit, and if you'll notice, here's what happened. These indicators, let me go to the end of the news right here on this. This is the drop dead point, the 4-bar, and this would be the 3 early bird filter. Those are the two exit opportunities you have in this particular trade if you're going to manually execute it for the close. Now it went sideways. From there on, it was never in compliance. These three indicators were never in compliance with each other until certain things took place. Okay? It's below, but it's above, right in this section. So above, below, and above, and then a little bit of messing. But they're not all three above and not all three below until right here. Now, over here I was trading trend. Over here, from here on, until I get further signals to the contrary, I need to be trading counter, because it's not on this correct side of the moving averages. It's only crossing through one. So now I'm in a counter position. So had I been focusing on the counter signals that were happening here, I could have traded right here like I tried. I attempted it here, lost interest in it, and missed out on two bigger moves. This move only moved 7. I only got about a pip and a half out of it because I was not paying attention. And you've got to be careful on these first initial moves because they're not always the strongest. So I'm glad I didn't lose anything. Barely came out with anything, but at least there was no loss. Here is where it gets exciting. Notice what happens right there. Everything's across, right? But it's not the right color. The cross was here, so now I need to start looking, and the cross of the 134 is here. That's great and fine and dandy, but I need to wait for it to be a fresh filter color change, and all three are across. So that took place right here. That's an entry signal that I should have taken, and I didn't. It went as many as 24 pips. I could have gotten a solid 13 to 15 out of that without any headache at all, possibly 20. You know, somewhere in there between 15 and 20 pips have been great. Then you'll notice I get my exit signals. Actually, right there, we've got the color change right there. And right there. And then we got our 4-bar. So you had two early bird filter and a 4-bar. Those were options to exit. Okay. Had I stayed in. But notice what happens. Below, above, and below. So they're not in compliance with each other. Then again, we get another signal. Counter. There's across, across and below, above, above, and above. There's our entry signal. For as many as 29. Could have got a good solid 24, 25 pips out of that. And then we got our exit signals again. Now, what happens here? This is pretty powerful. Right. Let's get the 4-bar right there. So the first 4-bar. Here's the early bird filter. So there was our exit at points, right? But this is a signal to be looking for what? The other direction. So as soon as it crossed, right, let me get this on here and I can follow it. Okay, it's still below, above, and below, so that's not going to work there, right? But we come over to right here. That's a sound entry. It went as low as 50 before retracing, went as low as 52. And we got exit signals right through here, right through here. So another 50 pips could have been earned. So a total of 50, 24, 15, and 7. So there could have been a total of 92 pips after the news move that I could have had a total of 95 on one currency pair. So I'm hoping that this helps shed some light on the power of the 1551 strategy and our Norwood strategy scanner and the filter. These tools are a game changer. The caveat here is that every trader needs to take stock in their own discipline and in their own focus and concentration. I was sitting in front of the computer after the news move, during the news move, and after the news move, and only got one trade out of the 4 that were presented after the news move. I was in the news, in front of the markets and in the trades before the news, but got out because of nervousness. Okay, it's going to happen. Those things are real. It's nothing you can get around without being really dedicated and focused on trying to resolve those issues personally. But they're going to happen. You're not going to catch every trade, but I could have traded more than I did had I been a little bit more patient and not been so emotionally charged by the shell shock of seeing that move so far and missing out on it. So, number 1, pay attention to staying focused in the market. 2, looking for the proper signals, watching for everything to come in line with each other. So you're looking for trending or counter-trending signals. Okay, being patient and not letting big moves scare you off. Be ready to get back in the market when it presents itself, because there are moves and they will take place. So, this is Jed. Hope this helps. And if you're interested in finding out more about our program, about the course and the training and how to trade alongside with us, please come talk to us. This is a great opportunity for you to learn and to become successful in the market. Look forward to talking with you. Bye.